Yeah, normally I wouldn't start a stream this late, but given the circumstances of the day, everything added up, and I promised I'd have this stream Monday or Tuesday. This build shouldn't actually take too long. Could be about an hour and a half. So I'm gonna pound some caffeine, stay up, get it done. I actually wanted to start this stream probably about 3 hours ago. Hey Stefan, how's it going, man? Steph, how's the build treating you? Hey man, how's it going? Over on YouTube? Doing pretty good, man. Just starting the build a lot later than I wanted to, so I apologize that it's so late. So if you don't want to stay up and watch the stream, I totally understand if you have to sleep. But at least you can go back and watch it later, if not. Loving the beast. Yeah, man, that thing is quite the beast you got. But yeah, if it's too late, I totally understand. I am building late, and I know that. So, but we are building a pretty nice system here with a Ryzen 5, 32 gigs of RAM, an RX 6600 XT with an Asus Prime B550, which does have the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth built into it. And we also have some custom cables with 750 watt power supply, gold, which is going to allow us to upgrade the system later on if we need to. It's cool, I'm up to 1:30 a.m. Awesome. We also have a nice dark cooler for it, some addressable RGB fans to add to the case itself. So the reason why I had this out of the box is the box was actually damaged and I had to test the card to make sure it was good. Everything is 100%, so we're good here. That's why this card is out of the box. But we also have 1 terabyte Gen 4, and this is a Western Digital 770, so we've got some really fast speeds on here. It was really important for this build as a workstation for design to be quick, snappy. So that's why we went heavy on the RAM, heavy on the drive speed. We went with the Ryzen 5 5600X for the multi-core abilities of AMD. We're going to go ahead and get started here because it is pretty late. Just going to start with the CPU, the RAM, the SSD on the motherboard with the cooler, and then we'll pound out the rest. We're also building this in a Vitro A03. Who else's voice would I want to fall asleep to? I mean, we were just chatting just a few minutes ago too, Toby. But yeah, no, I appreciate you guys jumping on this late. You guys don't have to. I appreciate that. So, and today I've pretty much gone with an all black theme, so I'm wearing this black shirt with the black pants and the black gloves. Everything's black. So we're doing black gloves tonight. Yeah, I mean, my daughter is really good at falling asleep to my horrible humming. Chloe, she liked that when she was a little younger. She was a very restless young lady, but that's about it. This is your Asus 550 Prime. It's got a very nice balance on the board, so you've got plenty of options. You got another M.2 slot here, which we can add more solid state drive to. It's got 4 slots, which we're going to fill with the RAM that we have here. But there's additional storage options down here as well. But this board overall is a very well balanced board. It also has the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth on the back, which is built into it, which is nice. Saves us from having to plug in another card down here and maybe suffocate the graphics card fan a little bit. So my boys are all like that. Yeah, they're yeah, she went through that stage, but now she's kind of past it, and now it's all about mommy for comfort. I'm only for fun now, and mommy's all for comfort. So kind of goes through that stage. Then as they get older, you find out that you're only for maybe a little bit of fun and asking questions for help around with stuff. Alright, so this is the Ryzen 5 5600X that we're going to be building with tonight. Got 6 cores, 12 threads, and it has a max boost of 4.6 gigahertz. That is factory boost. You could probably overclock it and get a little bit more out of it if you want to. But pins are on the back side of this CPU, so when you're working with these, you have to be careful with this CPU because the pins are on the board. You're always grabbing it on the side like this, underneath. Don't push the pins. Then it has a gold triangle on one of the corners. Not sure if we can pick that up with the lighting. Camera focusing on my hand too. But there is a gold triangle right here, which is actually going to determine the direction of the installation. That just pops into the socket with the arm lifted up. Push the arm down, and it is now installed. It is here. We're going to do the SSD and then the RAM and then the heatsink. This is the Western Digital Black SN770. Going to give you up to 5,150 megabits second of read speed, which is really fast, especially a nice speed for Gen 4. Gen 4 can go all the way up to like 7,000, 8,000, but you start spending some crazy money on it. But I wanted to make sure that this solid state drive was fast for the work that you mentioned here. And with this motherboard, the Asus B550 and the Ryzen 5 5600X, this supports Gen 4 PCIe. How long you been building PCs? It's been, gosh, 15 years now or so. I've been building since I was very young. Building professionally, I've been doing probably the last 10 years or so for other people or projects or whatnot. This M.2 drive is just going to slide into the slot on an angle, and then we put the stud on the board here, which I just did, and then we have a little M.2 screw that comes with your motherboard that we're going to use to mount the SSD to the board so it's secure. There we have it. We have our M.2 drive installed here in M.2 slot. In the top slot, which is generally always going to be your Gen 4 M.2 slot. Most of the time, the lower M.2 slots are going to be Gen 3. Now we'll move on to the RAM here. I'm going to pop these so that they're all open. And we are going to get our 2 sets. So there's 2 sticks in here. They're 8 gigs, so these are 16 gig sets. We're going to put each set in a channel, and that'll be a total of 32 gigabytes of RAM. And this is DDR4 3200 megahertz at CL16. CL16 is your CAS latency speeds. Just a metric us geeks talk about. So it's responsive RAM. You don't really want, even though in DDR5 you're going to see that CAS latency go up. Faster the higher the latency. But once you start getting into DDR5, it doesn't matter. Jump on it. That's it. Memory speed. Yeah, it's been probably a good 10 years professionally building PCs. How many kids do you have? Three boys. So you got stuck with all boys, I got stuck with all girls. I don't know which one's easier. Honestly, I don't. Haven't gotten to see what boys are like. Come from a large family though, so it's it was dominantly girls. What we have here is our heat sink. This is going to be planted right here on the CPU itself. That's what's going to cool or draw the heat off the CPU up these heat pipes into these fins, kind of like a radiator. Then this 120 millimeter fan, which is PWM, is going to be on the radiator, pushing air across those fins. Boys aren't. I agree. I feel like girls are a little bit easier, but again, I haven't gotten to deal with boys yet, so I don't know for sure. Can't really speak from experience. And D, so we gotta put go on. All these coolers are always different, so always a different design. Doing the same thing. Well, my oldest and youngest are autistic, so they are a handful. Yeah, I could see. I know about that. A couple of my friends have the same thing going on. So they could be a handful. Good learning experience, yeah. That for sure. Pretty sure, but I want to double check our instruction just to make sure I'm doing it right. Like I said, every cooler is a little bit different. Okay. We're going to These are the ones that we're going to be using. There's these little plastic washers with a screw that goes over. So we're going to put the brackets on there as well. That is how it mounts. Then there's both Intel and AMD brackets in this set as well. Okay. So those were the Intel brackets. Definitely. There's a metal backplate on the back of the motherboard. That's what we're screwing. I know my hands are probably covering up most of this right now, but I gotta hold the bracket, hold the stud, make sure the screw's going in square, ripping anything out. There we go. We got the brackets installed. Now we can actually put the heatsink on the CPU. But we do need thermal paste here. We're going to be using the Thermal Grizzly for the thermal paste, which is in my opinion, the best thermal paste. Does a very efficient job transferring off of this onto the copper of the. Never had an issue with stuff. In fact, I've had it solve problems where other pastes were having problems. So I highly recommend it. And then if anybody's building, always make sure you peel this off, because without that, or with that on there, you are going to ruin the performance cooling. It will not be making contact to your copper. So we'll be mounting like so. And then it's always a good idea to make sure it's clean under here where you mount it. It is nice and clean. I think the music might be a little too, but I can add here. Because I'm further away from the microphone, it probably have a hard time hearing me. There we are. Get our heatsink mounted. Good pressure. Those heat pipes going directly to the CPU. You can hear me perfectly? Awesome. I don't think I adjusted the volume before I started it. Now we're going to get this fan mounted. And I'm actually going to throw another thing. So it's a push-pull. I just need to make sure that it's not going to hit any pins. So I'm going to put a second fan on there for you, just to make sure it's running nice and cool. But it has extra cooling on it. It'll actually be less work with the push-pull across the fin because the fans don't have to work as hard, meaning they don't have to spin as fast. Pushing and pulling, they can kind of work together as a team and kind of run slower. Actually might just put on it because I want it to look funny. I think that's what I'm going to do. Got a different texture here. I'd rather have matching fans. These are brand new. These are by Keep Cool. They're the same thing, PWM 120mm. Same speed. I'm just improvising a little bit, I'm building it. Want it to be and I'm mounting them with these little wire clips that come with the kit. They just kind of wrap around the fan and grab the mounting holes, and it sticks pins, mounting clips. There we have it. We've got two PWM 120mm fans on a power air cooler here, mounted to the CPU. This is actually ready to go into the case. Last thing we want to do is get these PWM fans plugged in. And I'm actually going to grab zip tie really quick and tie these. They're going to get tucked in either behind the motherboard or case. That they're out of the way. Nope. Clean. That's how we do that. I'm just going to clean up the screws here that we pulled out. Get them put away in this bag. The rest of it, it's trash that's going to get thrown away. And we'll get the case out. got a plastic film on it, so that's why it might look a little foggy on the glass, but this is a glass door that we can open up, and I'm going to actually get it off its hinges here. Set that aside. Then we just need the back off. But overall, this is a really nice ATX mid tower. We're gonna have some fans up here in the top, laying down right now. This is the front with the front mesh. Already got 3 fans pre-installed, so that is gonna save me some time because we are gonna use those fans. But this front mesh actually pops off very easily. It just takes 2 hands to pull it off, so it makes cleaning and maintaining this really easy. And then you have full access to the front fans here, which makes it nice and easy. The top, it also has a magnetic dust filter, since we'll have fans right here exhausting. This will actually not be doing a whole lot outside of filtering the air as it's coming out, so you can take this off and wash it as needed, which is nice, and again makes maintenance easy. And the rest of it is pretty well ventilated on the back. As you can see, everything has ventilation. I saw a tag, I'm uppish, LOL. Nice. So you're kind of awake. But yeah, I didn't mean to start the stream this late. I just had one thing after another lead up to starting the stream late. This is the back side of the case where all the wiring is going to be. We are going to adjust some of this wiring that they already have in here a little bit. But I needed this bag full of screws to do the next piece, which is the motherboard. I'm going to flip it back over, and what we're going to do is make sure that the studs for the motherboard are in the right places, and then we're also going to get our I/O shield on there. Merd! So that's the pink you were talking about, LOL JK. Yes, this was the pink one that I was going to accidentally buy for you. It's black. If you want to go pink, I could still do it. Just let me know. Just let me know, man. Nothing wrong with a pink case. They're actually pretty cool. I did a couple of them now. How's Manny's build going? So far it's going pretty good. We're just again, we're just getting the motherboard here into the case. So I just want to make sure we have the right studs here, which we're going to need a couple out of this bag. Do I have Bluetooth Wi-Fi in mind? Don't remember. You know what, Steph? I've built about 10 computers since yours now. 10 or more. I'd have to go back and look. I'm pretty sure we did put Bluetooth and Wi-Fi on it. I'm pretty sure. If not, we can add it. See if we can add it. As easy as popping a card in there. I'm just not remembering. Terrible as that sounds. I think so as well. I'm pretty sure we did, because with the boards that we would have been building with, those pretty much all have Wi-Fi on them and Bluetooth. And I try to always build with Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, unless they're just really hard to get, or just specifically not a need and it costs that much extra. You know, it makes a big difference, but most of the time it's only about $30 or $40 more to have it on the board already. So it just makes sense to do it. And nowadays, everybody kind of expects Wi-Fi to be on a computer, just automatically included, and Bluetooth. So most of the time, I'll just default to it. There's a couple, like I think Divinities didn't have it. That was because we were really trying to cram 3080 into its build. We were squeezing every dollar we could for the 3080 without, you know, picking a crappy board with Wi-Fi on it. I'd rather pick a quality board that doesn't have Wi-Fi, that meets the budget. I wouldn't care what color it is. Oh, well, okay. I think so as well. If you're not, we do have manual on the YouTube channel, and then pretty much everybody else is chatting on Facebook there. So you can see on the screen in the, because we're streaming to Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook all at once. I just have the chat, the multi-chat right there. You can all see who's saying what. But yeah, pink builds, I've done a few of them, and they actually turn out really cool looking. Even though they're pink, you think, pink, for coming out of the closet to talk about stuff. But no, it's, pink is actually really cool looking. Especially with some like purple lighting on it, RGB lighting in it. Actually looks pretty sick. Got some planing to do. So, next thing I'm going to do here is get the case connections plugged in, and then we're going to get the fans in the top and the back here. Then we can move on to the graphics card, power supply. I'm going to stand this up. You probably won't have a very good view here until I invest in some time and money on a different camera with a different angle. I will eventually do that. These build streams are just becoming more and more popular, I think. Somebody wants one? I'm cool with. I don't mind, but I actually enjoy doing it. Not with all your time. Sharing the education on the build. Right now I'm plugging in the audio for your front panel, and then I'm going to plug in front panel USB 2.0 ports, both USB 3.0 and 2.0, and your HD audio here. Then your USB 3.0 is plugged in. We got that. These undone. So that we This is going to be your power switch, hard drive activity light, LED light, and then your power light, which is what lights up when you press the power button on the front. Little LED light lights up and then power to the system. But we'll plug in as well as the power switch. There is no reset button on this switch, or on this case. There actually is, but in this case for the LED, you can actually manually control it if you want to. But we're going to be connecting this to the software so we can software synchronize it. But you will have the option to do both if you need, or if you prefer it that way. But that reset button is technically right now the LED button. We're going to grab a tie here and clean this up a little bit. A lot of extra cables running up the side of the case here. I want to try to keep it as possible. And then one more towards the bottom of it to keep it inside, because that's customer facing. Glass facing. There we go, nice and clean. Looks a lot cleaner. Alright, so from here, we can actually move on to, so let's, go. Better. Now we can move on to getting the graphics card installed real quick, or you know what, the fans, fan, we need the fans. Then the card, fans. Upside down. These are addressable RGB fans that we will be mounting, one on the rear here, two on the top. Gonna light it up a little bit and also move that hot air out of the system because these are going to be set up for exhaust, all three of them. We have the three on the front already that are set up for intake. We really don't need any more intake, and hot air rises, so we want the higher area of the case to exhaust. So I'm going to start with the rear. You know what, let's start with the top. We just need to get these cables through those holes. Then we'll Start screwing this in. You can actually put a radiator up here in this case if you needed to. There's plenty of space in it. If you ever had to. I wanted to upgrade to a AIO cooler. Very possible in this case. I'm actually going to start the back fan so it's easier to get to. And then I'm going to do this last one that goes on the top here. It gets routed through the same ports, same holes. Just easier to do if you do it right now. Leave it for a minute. And there's 4 screws to each fan, so got 12 screws to do here. Don't mess it up, it'll go pretty quick. There we go, we got the top 2 done. Now we just need to get the rear. I'm going to try to get it as level as possible with the cooler. It's not going to work. So, I think we got right where I want it. I'm picky about that. I want to try to get it as low as possible. Try to keep it level with the cooler, but it's not going to work out. I always like that look. There we go. We got all 3 of those fans installed. We'll just have to play with the cable management. Get that cleaned up a little bit later on. So you can see all 3 of those fans installed. Nice and neat. Now we can get the graphics card installed and do the cables. We do have black and white cables for this build. I believe I went with black and white there on this build. Or I went with black, I don't remember. Don't remember. It says black and white on the build sheet. So hopefully they're black and white. Now, just a side note, Emmanuel, we will be probably shipping this card uninstalled. So when you receive the build, you're going to find it without the card like this. All you're going to have to do is exactly what I'm doing right now, which is specifically, this will be in a foam block, protected, so it's not going to get damaged in shipping. We'll probably have it inside the case, inside the foam. But the reason why is because during shipping, it will vibrate up and down and actually damage the card itself and the slot on the motherboard. And it doesn't matter how much you pack in here and try to keep it from vibrating, somehow the vibration still damages it. 9 times out of 10 it happens. And I've just found it better to ship you a product that I know is 100% going to work unless they run it over with a truck. It just takes a few minutes when you receive it to install the card. The card, again, all we're going to have to do is take it out of the foam. We're going to take the 2 screws, which are going to be located back here, off the case. You'll see them when you open it up. And then we're just going to line up the gold pins with this top slot. You can use this video for reference later on, but you're going to line it up, then push straight down until you hear it click. When it clicks, it's in. Then you can take the 2 screws and screw it back in right here on the back side. And then the last thing you'll have to do is plug a power cord in right here. And it can only go in one way. So it's very easy to install. We just do this to ensure that this card and that motherboard is not going to get damaged in shipping. And this is the only part in the entire case that is not secure enough for shipping. I mean, this card might be light enough where it's okay, but I just don't want to take the chance. I'd rather ship you a build that I know is going to work. It's just going to take a few extra minutes when you receive it to put the card in. I'm going to put the 2 screws in actually right now on the back side. It's just as easy as a Phillips screwdriver screwing it in after you get the card plugged in, and then plugging your power cord in. Very easy. And then of course, if you have any questions while you're doing it, when you receive it, I am available to help you, help walk you through it. Usually it only takes about 5 minutes or so. In some cases, it may take a little longer, depending on how sophisticated your build is. Depending on how sophisticated your build is. What? Not bad. Why'd you faint? Sounds good, thank you. No problem, man. Alright, so, and then also, to get to those 2 screws I should have mentioned, to get this in the shot, there's this little panel right here. I actually have it on lately, wrong. But you'll have to take this 1 screw right here off to get to it. And then you can lift that panel off. Okay. And then it just simply, to put it back on, you just pop it on, 1 screw. That's the back side where the graphics card is. Very easy. You got the 1 screw, pop that off, 2 screws, unscrew, slide the card in, 2 screws to mount the card, put the panel back on, plug the power cord in, fire it up. I make it sound easy, don't I? It's easy. It's not difficult or crazy. Excuse me. And then if you do have any questions during, like I said, just give me a call. Alright, so we have the graphics card installed. Now we're going to do the power cords. No, they're black and white. We got some nice black and white cables. Go with the theme. And cable film. For those of you who do not know what cable films are, yeah, lol. They make your cables nice and clear. So, for example, this is a cable comb. We're going to be putting that on every single wire here to make sure that the wires stay uniform. We're going to start actually with the CPU, which is going to be in this upper corner up there. We're only going to do 2 because that's all that's going to be facing you. These are 8 cables on this wire. That's pretty easy, pretty quick. But it just adds a really nice look to the build. It doesn't cost a whole lot to do it. I don't know why more people don't do it. Very, very nice look to it. Bless you. Thanks. Nice thing. We're just going to run it through the hole that we need to get it through and get plugged in here. And then you could see a nice white and black cable rather than like mustard looking cables or regular black cables. It just adds a nice look to it. Nice touch. I pretty much always use them now going forward. Rare that I don't use them unless it's a super tight budget build, like, you know, penny pinching. That'd be the only time that I probably won't use them. And this is all for cosmetics. There's no performance gain out of these at all. Just cosmetic. Again, they're like $25 for that expensive. You could get super expensive ones that are super custom, but I don't believe that they're worth them because there is no performance gain. There's no gain off of it. They're literally there for cosmetic. As long as they cosmetically look good, I'm happy with them. There's other ones that are a little bit nicer that go directly into your power supply, like for a unique like cable mod, for example. I'll do those for super builds. Super builds. But they take forever sometimes to get because they're not always in stock. If not in stock, then I don't use them. Yeah, we could talk about cables for like 2.5 hours if you wanted to. All sorts of different types, shapes, colors. Oops, I did wrong. Got it figured out. Sometimes it's tricky putting these cable combs on here. It'll trick you into thinking you're doing wrong, but you're doing good, and then you start second guessing yourself. So this is the 24 pin for the motherboard, and this is what powers the motherboard. The CPU and the one that we just did, that powers this. The last one we're going to do is going to be powering the graphics card. That's going to be the power cord that you're going to plug in, which will just hang out here in the case, and I'll secure it for shipping. Go. Nice 24 pin, super slick. We also have all the extra cables, so if you need to upgrade, for example, if you get a bigger card that requires 3 cables, you have 2 more cables in the box. Those will be included, so if you do upgrade, you'll have them. Cable cone. But usually I'll have, I haven't lately, she's started building later. But usually I'll have my oldest daughter prep these cable cones for me. And we're not sitting on the stream trying to do them. Makes the process go faster, a little faster. Got really good at it. Look at that, I ripped a glove. And there we go. Cables and cable cone. Now to flip her over, get her all plugged in, and get the power supply installed. Actually going to set it right here. We're going to get the power supply here and plugged in. There is our 750 watt 80 plus gold. This is by Ars Gaming. We've actually made some pretty decent products. I've been using it. Big love. Alright, so we gotta find the screws. Get these cables plugged in. Mount the power supply. Do I have any stickers? I have a magnet that I'll be adding to the case. So it'll be a magnet with our logo. Outside of that, these stickers that come with the build are included from the parts. So for example, you'll have an AMD sticker. Outside of that, I don't offer any stickers just because of the adhesive. If I put it on a computer, it's possible to leave an adhesive stickiness behind. And I always like to give people the option to remove the magnet if they want to, put it somewhere else. They can always move the logo around if they need to. But I do have a logo with a magnet. And usually I'll put it to the back or on the side or wherever it may need to go. Okay. I'll lift these cables up a little bit. Right here. And then there's 4 screws on the back that will be bring this power supply in. Fan is facing down on the power supply, so I can ventilation on the bottom of the case. When you place this computer, try not to put it on carpet. The bottom of the case does need to breathe. Place it on carpet, it can suffocate the power supply and shorten the life of the power supply from overheating. Make sure it's on a hard surface, piece of wood or something on the carpet. Also, keeping it lower to the ground like that, you will increase the amount of dust that is brought into the system. Nice, I was asking, so when I take a picture, we'll know where my build came from. Yeah. Yep. The Empower logo, or if you take a picture and post it, you're welcome to tag Power Gaming Piece. The Facebook page or the YouTube, or we're on all of them. Yeah, normally I just put it in, for this case, I'll just put it in the bottom right corner right here. And then it's removable if you ever want to move it around or put it somewhere else. But right here, that's where it will be. Alright, so now we have a big old wire mess, right? First thing I want to do is kind of get this out of the way, and we're just going to run through and route the wires the way I want them. Like, for example, redo some of these. Okay. I just wanted to get that routed so it looks nicer there. And we'll put this zip tied a little bit here so it looks nicer here. This is an addressable RGB hub that I'm plugging into. It also has a PWM fan hub on it. Makes connecting cords or the cables a little bit more organized. Rather than having them go to the front of the case, we can have the back of the case. A little nicer. Here's the fan cable that I mentioned earlier on, tucking back here. Glove. There we go, we got that nice and clean. Now we just got to clean up down here a little bit. Before I do that, Sorry, cable management just takes a lot of focus, I guess. Talk much. But it looks pretty clean, right? Just gotta get some of those zip ties busted up. Or cut off the tie ends. Nice and clean. Double check the front side and see if we can get this fired up. Not much we can do to clean it up any more than what we have. We're at pretty clean. Oh, get that back panel on, plug it in, and fire it up. So I guess the big question is, will it post? Post is power on self-test. And that usually means all the components are plugged in correctly and fires up for the first time. The question is will it post? Did I build it right? Won't know until we hit that power button. we've got a post. So we are at the BIOS. All 32 gigabytes of RAM's checking in. Your solid state just checked in. Detected the new CPU, obviously, or else it wouldn't have posted. And we've obviously got a graphics card because nothing would be displayed if it wasn't, there was no graphics card. So the power on self-test passed. We have our addressable RGB running, flashy. You see the front of the case here, nice and full of mesh. You can see your addressable RGB fans in work, as well as this is tempered glass here, so that's what you'll see when it's standing up. Moving some solid airflow. Even with a glove on, I can kind of feel it. I feel it on my wrist. But there we are. We are up and running. All we got to do is Windows drivers updates and go through the benchmark test to verify that it is going to be that it receives the Empower certificate. So all of our builds get a certificate, and in order for it to pass that, or to receive that certificate, it has to pass a series of tests and benchmarks to verify it's performing where it should be. So that is kind of where we're at next, is to perform those steps with Windows drivers, and then the benchmarks and the testing to verify that it is going to receive the certificate. But overall, the hardware is assembled, so that is probably the majority of the legwork. But we're about, I'd say, 55% of the way there. So I've got a few more things we got to wrap up on it, but I'd say we'd have this shipped out by the end of the week, no later. I'm going to try to get it out probably Wednesday, to be more precise. So I should have your tracking information, like I mentioned earlier, by Wednesday. Well, this is where I'm going to leave you for the night. I know it was a late build. I apologize for getting this started so late, but we did get through it pretty quickly. So we got everything built here. It's posted, it's running. We're just going to move on to the software side next. And but this is where I'm going to leave you on the stream. So I'll leave it up for a little bit. You guys can ooh-ah at it if you'd like, or look at it, or go back on the video when that's done. Take a look at some things if you'd like. But overall, thanks for stopping in and tuning in. Thank you, everyone, for the likes. Everyone that I didn't announce. Vern, liking the stream. Travis, Toby, Family Ops. Thank you, everyone, for jumping on the stream, liking it, and all of that. I'll see you next time. Do have a couple more builds later this week, but I got to focus on getting a couple of them out right now. So overall, we're just building and hammering away. So I'll see you guys maybe on the weekend. Have a good night, guys. Bye.